So I was talking with one of my clients and we were going back and forth about how they should set up their website, how they should set up their link in their bio. That way they can drive traffic to monetize their audience. And I kind of scoffed because what I noticed is that they had a link tree with several different products. It was a lead magnet, there was a one-on-one coaching application, there was a digital product, there was an affiliate link, there was this, that, and the other. And I scoffed because I realized that so many creators make this mistake of throwing out all these different links and hoping and praying that someone is just going to click on the right one and just click that purchase button and money would just come in, right? And I thought I'd come on here, I'm still honestly wearing my pajamas, and I thought I'd come on here and shoot this video just off the cuff because I have seen enough, I've had enough of this, and I'm tired of seeing creators make this mistake that is costing you guys a lot of sales, okay? And this is coming from someone that has been building these systems profitably and working with some of the biggest names in the industry for the better half of the last decade. So buckle up, turn off your phone, put it aside, and please get your notepads out because this is a very, very important video. It's a bit kind of everywhere, but I promise if this video does not give you any kind of value, then you can let me know in the comments and I'll try to do better next time. But pay attention. And so what I see happen more often than not, well, there's a few things I see happen, but anytime you're looking to monetize an audience, whether that's on Instagram, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on TikTok, what I see a lot of creators do is more often than not have a link tree that then gives multiple links to different products, whether that's a affiliate link, whether that is some kind of lead magnet, whether that's some kind of digital product, whether that's a one-on-one coaching application. And so you provide this link tree thinking that, okay, I'm going to give you guys the options to everything that I have available. And in your mind, you're probably thinking, okay, well, I'm just showing them everything that I have. From there, they can choose whatever they want. And I'm maximizing all of the options here. And I'm maximizing every single thing that I have available. And I'm going to be making the most out of every single little product or every single little link. And I understand that, right? I understand that frame of thinking, right? You want to capture as much as humanly possible. You want to capture as much demand from your audience as humanly possible. And so I understand that you might think that having all these different options is going to be helpful for you. But what ends up happening when you have a suite of different options, and let me actually just erase this here. Okay, let me make this red. So what ends up happening when you have this suite of different options is you end up directing traffic, right? So let's say this is an eyeball right here. Okay, pretty bad eyeball there, but let's say when you have attention, when you have traffic, right, you have an audience and you're trying to direct that traffic and you're trying to direct it in multiple different directions, what you're actually doing is you're spreading all those different options thin, right? It's kind of like if you have a bucket and it has different holes at the bottom. And it has let's say 10, 20 different holes at the bottom. As you start to pour more and more water through that bucket, each hole is minimized, it's diluted. And taking into consideration the way humans work, human psychology, right? I have worked in sales and one-on-one sales. I've gone door-to-door selling and I've interacted with a lot of humans, right? And I understand psychology. And in psychology, when you provide someone with multiple different options, the most likely thing that they're going to do is choose none. Why? Because when provided with multiple options, it leads to confusion. It leads to, a lack of indecision. It leads to overwhelm, right? And that is exactly what happens when you're directing your audience, when you're directing your customers through something like this, right? You're confusing them, you're overwhelming them. And what ultimately ends up happening is you actually end up hurting conversions, you actually end up hurting sales. And as a result of that, you actually end up making less of this, less money. Okay, and a lot of times it could be really, really, really significant. And so what I would propose is, instead of giving multiple options, you want to direct your traffic in something called a funnel. Okay, and in the info space, in the digital product space, whatever you want to call it, digital marketing space, there's something called a funnel that drives all of the traffic through this funnel, but ends up with one clear next step. Okay, so you're taking those eyeballs, and what you're doing is you're telling them, hey, I have one thing available. I have one next step for you. This is what it is. It's very, very clear. It's very, very clear as to what it is. And now the likelihood of them actually taking that next step goes significantly up, because they're not confused, they're not overwhelmed, and it's just a clear actions next step. And that is exactly how you want to think of it, right? You want to remove as much friction for your audience to be able to buy as possible. The more friction that you add, the less conversion you will have. The less friction that it has, the more conversion that goes up, right? It's just the way humans work. You want to make it as easy for them to take action as possible, because at the end of the day, humans are, like it or not, we are lazy beings, right? Evolutionarily speaking, that's just the way we evolved, right? We're always looking for ways to optimize our energy. We're always looking for ways to do things faster, easier, and with better quality. And so you want to work with that, not work against that, okay? And so the way a funnel works is usually what you have. Let me just try and draw this out for you guys. Okay, let's say this is the page. This is the landing page. Okay, what you'll have on a funnel most of the time is initially you'll have something called a VSL. Okay, and so what is a VSL? A VSL is very simple. It's short for video sales letter. I don't know if you guys have ever been onto a landing page where there's a video on there, and then, it's just like one landing page, there's a video, and you watch that video, and that video on that landing page is a VSL. Okay, and this VSL is designed to essentially take your audience from not knowing what you do to knowing exactly what it is that you do, and get them interested and increase their levels of interest to taking the next step, whether that is buying the product, or whether that is booking a call, or whether that is opting in for a lead magnet. Okay, so that's the first thing. You want to have the VSL, and actually before this VSL, you want to have a headline, okay, and a sub headline. Okay, and this is not based on theory, by the way. This is based off of years and years and years of experiences of actually working with some of the biggest names in the industry, and after understanding what it is that actually converts, that actually drives traffic, that actually drives conversions, and this is what it is, right? This is exactly how you set it up. So there's a headline, a sub-headline, a VSL, and then from here, you can have, a few text, whether, right, you can have text that goes over, the exact problem that you're solving with this product, with this next step, with this lead magnet, whatever it is, or with them booking a call. And then from there, you have the solution, and then you have case studies. Okay, case studies, super, super important. So essentially, you just want to provide proof. Okay, you want to provide proof that the claims that you're making are legit, that you know exactly what it is that you're talking about. You're not just, just coming up with this. You're not just bringing this out of your ass out of nowhere, that you actually know what you're talking about. And then from there, you can have what I like to call a clear call to action. Okay? Clear call to action. And that clear call to action is exactly what you want to be driving your traffic to and optimizing for. Okay? And so as you can see, there is a very significant difference in the way traffic is driven between what I've seen most people and most creators do that can work. It can bring in some sales, can get you some traction, but ultimately in the long run, it's not, you're just leaving so much more money on the table. You're just leaking so much money. And honestly, I would not recommend having a link tree. I would not recommend having a stand store. I would not recommend having beacons. I would definitely not recommend having a website, right? A website is really just to provide information. And you don't want to be providing information. You want to be driving conversions. That is the name of the game. If you're looking to monetize your audience, you have to drive conversions. And everything you do, every single action you take, every single decision you make is designed around that of driving conversions, right? And when I first started, I used to be very hesitant to having that frame of mind, because I always thought I don't want to just be selling people. I don't want to be that sleazy sales guy that all he wants is to take my money, right? And I get it, I understand, because that was me. However, once I realized that when someone actually has a problem, and when someone is a buyer, they're looking to buy. They want to buy. They're looking for a solution to their problem. They want to be helped. And so you have to be a leader. You have to remove that frame of mind, and you have to put yourself in a position that allows you to actually provide them with the resources to solve their problem, because they will look for the problem. They will look for the solution, right? Buyers, right? There's two different types of people when it comes to an audience, right? There's people that are just looking, right? The looky-loos, they're just paying attention. They're just there for entertainment, and they really have no interest. And then a small segment of those people are people that are buyers. They are actively looking for solutions. They're actively looking for solutions to solve their problem. They have a problem. It's agitating them, and they want to solve it because it's causing them pain. It's causing them conflict, whatever it is. And so these buyers, you have to optimize for them, right? All these other people, these entertainers, they're not going to pay your bills. They're going to keep you broke. If you pay attention to the entertainers, if all you do is make content and all you do is make decisions and build your entire funnel around people that are just there to be entertained, well, guess what? I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're not going to make much money, right? But the buyers, that's what you want to optimize for. That's what you want to build these systems around for, because they're actively looking solutions. And guess what? If you don't provide that solution for them, they're going to go somewhere else and they're going to find it. They're going to go to your competitors. They're going to go to another creator that talks about the same exact stuff, that does have the right product, that does have the right funnel, that does make it extremely clear as to what step to take next. And they're going to buy from them. That's just the way the market works. Okay? And so you want to optimize for conversions, but obviously this isn't, forever, and this is only within a small period of time. And obviously, like I said, you don't want to be just cramming things down people's throat. Obviously, this is for people that are actively looking for that solution and are interested, right? But I hope you guys are actually starting to understand the difference between having I hope you guys are starting to understand the difference between just throwing things into a link tree and actually having a proven system that is optimized to capture demand for the people that are looking for it. Okay? And yeah, hope you guys found this valuable. If you guys want something like this built into your Instagram so that you can capture demand, we do this kind of thing for some of our clients. So for our clients, we do this kind of work. Obviously, we don't do it for free, but we also don't charge upfront. We work on a performance basis, meaning that for everything that we set up, every dollar being tracked, you only pay us on commission basis. But right now, spots are pretty limited. If you want to learn more about that, I'll leave my Instagram down below. Just send me a message and we'll see if we can fit you in or not. But other than that, yeah, share this. Let your friends know if you see them with the website, with the link tree, stand store beacons, or just a bunch of freaking links. Send them this video. Hopefully it helps them. Hopefully it helps you. And if you watch this video and you actually take action and it doesn't make you more money, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll buy you a coffee from wherever you want, because this is very, very important. This is the pinnacle of everything, and this is the number one mistake I see every single creator make. So take action and call me out on my shit if you need to. All right, ciao.